really not a fan of like financial gurus, for lack of a better term, like people who sell you how to make money. So you actually spend money to learn how to make money. And it's almost like, oh man, you're almost like you're in the trap right then and there. And it's interesting because a lot of people do this, right, where they sell this type of financial advice, and then it's a cycle, right? So they sell the advice. That advice gets a lot of like attention, so then it looks like it's valid, and then people pay into whatever course they're selling. So now it's almost like they made it come true where that's what they're selling. They're selling, how do I explain this? Some of you guys already know what I'm talking about, where it's like they sell advice, people buy the advice, and now that's kind of what they're selling. They're selling that they did that, but they won't necessarily be straight up about that whole business model. It's like, it's almost like manipulation in a way, but it's just for the people who don't see it, man. And oh man, and it's, I'm not a fan of that, man. I think they are taking advantage of people, but I think a lot of things where you sell advice or anything like that is you are selling to lost people in a way, right? We see that with business stuff. We see that with religious stuff. We see that with life advice stuff. And I think all that stuff is technically good. I just don't necessarily like the business model of that. And make your bag, do what you need to do. I just wish, I don't know, I feel bad for the people who kind of just don't see through what they're actually being sold in that way, and that they are perpetuating this cycle, if that makes sense. Because really, man, at the end of the day, business stuff, it's so simple. It's the same rule we've all learned, and if for some reason you haven't learned it, here it is, man. This is what everything boils down to. It's supply and demand. Across the board, it's just supply and demand. What's the demand, and can you supply it? Even normal jobs are like that. It's like, there's a demand, we need a body to fill this position, and that's how. And then they find someone who can supply that position. As simple as that, like a job like that. But then obviously with products, it's the same concept but a little different now. Instead of people, it's the product, right? Like, what do people want to buy, and how do we supply that? And then eventually it just goes back to, well, now we need someone else to fill that position to keep selling this product. You know what I mean? So it's the same across the board. And if you can just get in your head that it's all just supply and demand, what do people value and what will people buy? And people do value, advice and lessons from someone who, says they've done it. But a lot of times, man, what I've noticed is these people haven't necessarily done it yet. Like, they start without doing it, and then when they start selling that advice, now it became true, or now it's not, they aren't technically lying anymore, but now oh man, you guys get what I'm saying, bro. It's everywhere. It's everywhere nowadays because there is a demand for, people want financial freedom, right? So there's a lot of parasites trying to like jump in on that. Like, oh, here's an easy way here's how you make passive income, 10K a month. It's like, yeah, right. It's like, yeah, right, bro. Like, no, dude. Like, sometimes it depends. Like, but like some of that stuff doesn't that feel obvious? Like, I don't know, like, let's say it's like, oh, use AI to make a book and sell it. It's like, do you even need any more advice past that? And also, is there actually a demand for these books? Thing is, like, people will buy almost anything, so you probably can. But it's like, I don't know, man. I feel like you can just find it in yourself. And dude, here's the thing. There's so much advice out there if you really don't know what to do at all. The main thing is, like, what are you actually willing to do? But, people value people who've, like, quote unquote made it. They value, like, what did they do to get there? And here's a hard pill to swallow, bro. A lot of it's connection. A lot of it's connection based. Granted, we do have the internet now, so there's a complete possibility that you can just do it your own way and take care of yourself 100%, like making content and all that jazz. Like, there's definitely ways out of the rat race right now, potentially more than ever, but maybe it was better like 5 years ago. But I don't know, there's always more people being born and more people watching stuff, so I don't know, I guess just start today. But people value people who've already made its opinions, which makes sense, right? Obviously, right? Because like, oh, I want to hear like someone who actually went and done it. But a lot of times, man, and it's connection based in a sense, because opportunity is a coin flip, right? Like, a lot of people, if like your dad owned a business and now you work at that business, like, yeah, you didn't necessarily earn that And that's not a bad thing. That's good. No, that's awesome for you. I think too many people want to have like pride in like the things they've done, but if you look around, think of all like the things that were lucky that fell into place, like in general, for you to get to where you are right now. Like across the board, everything is kind of luck, and everything takes a team, in a sense, right? Across the board with everything. It's like we didn't go hunting. I know for a fact me and you didn't go hunting today, bro, but we ate today, didn't we? We didn't do anything. That's pretty lucky. You know what I mean? So, and with financial stuff, a lot of it, man, it's like a lot of people, and I'm not saying this is bad, bro. Like, I'd be sick. It'd be sick to be one of these guys where it's like you're born into money, so you're already ahead and you can kind of do whatever you want. And then, but like a lot of people who didn't, or most people, if not all people that didn't get born into money, they have to kind of claw their whole life to get to where you started. You know what I mean? And that's just the way that it goes. But a lot of people who are able to do all these, I don't know, grand things, right? A lot of it's money. Money controls everything. If you want to be in a super popular band, you know what will launch you there right away? Money. 100%. You can't even, I don't even think you can argue that. It's like, well, write good music. And it's like, yeah, what's the best way to write good music? You probably hire a bunch of producers and stuff. And it's like, what about the bands that traveled and, you know, clawed their way up? And it's like, yeah, they killed it. They obviously got there and grinded it out to get that money to be able to do that. You know, it just took them a longer process. It isn't like, if you think of the band like Motionless in White, if you heard of them, right? That little goth metalcore band, they were traveling around the country, you know, eating ramen noodles in their van, you know, clawing their way up, and eventually got a huge break, and now they're killing it. They got money, they're playing big festivals, they're killing it, but they did start from practically the bottom, you know. And then you take someone like Billie Eilish, right, where her parents were already like rich in Hollywood, and she got a brand deal before she even made any music, and then she, you know, won Grammys and all that stuff, you know what I mean? And then they sell you the story that's like, oh, it's just her and her brother making music in their room. And, you know, maybe that's where it started, but with a lot of that Hollywood stuff, you know, it's kind of fabricated to, you know, get you to believe in it, because there's tons of people who are making music in their rooms that no one cares about. It's just they made it to that point of being so popular. But, you know, what's a quick way to get popularity is money, bro. You buy the advertising, you buy the, you know, places to put your face if you want to do that. And I'm just using like music as an analogy right now. So hopefully you guys get what I'm saying. I'm sure some of you do. And yeah, man, it all just boils down to money. And I think I started saying that because we are, you know, there's a reason why a lot of these financial gurus exist, right? Because we are in a time where it's like we all feel it, that like our dollar does not travel far. Even in the past like 10 years. 10 years ago, your dollar went a lot further than it does right now. So I think a lot of people are just like, you know, struggling. It's rough out here. And, you know, I'm not trying to take anything away. If you are a financial guy and you are watching this, bro, I get it. I get the game. You do you. And if you are one of those guys where it's like you do feel in your heart that you want to help people escape that rat race that I just explained, like, God bless you, bro. That I'm not saying that you're not being a parasite. You're being a real one. But then you might be like, well, you said if I charge for it, like, that's garbage. And it's like, nah, man. You do you at the end of the day. I just worry for the people who kind of don't see that business model and kind of don't understand that the rules have always been the same. It's just supply and demand. That's all I'm saying. Like, what else is there more to learn? Like, specifics? It's like, I guess you can think of that, but like, I don't know, just like think about like, what do people buy? Think about what you buy. You know, what grabs your attention? Like, it's I don't know, maybe that's a goofy way of looking at it, but I believe people can find it in themselves where they don't need to, especially, I don't know, man, I just feel bad for the people who don't have money, so they're so stressed about it, where they spend their money to get advice on how to make money, but they just keep going lower in the hole. And it's like, I don't know, man, I just feel like we could do better than that. I just feel like we can do better than that. I just feel bad for them. And I know people personally that have fallen into that, and it's like, you know, I guess some people just don't have whatever that is in your head to make it click of like, how to escape this in a way. And I know a lot of us are struggling, so I'm just saying I empathize with it. And yeah, I could keep going, but I think I'll end it there. But thank you for listening, boys. Make sure to do something for yourself today. It's so important to do that. Make sure to do something for someone else today, as little as a compliment, anything. Just brighten someone's day up as little or as much as you can. And regardless, we got this, all right? Take care, man.